Welcome to the Last Three Rows of Horror podcast. Mike here with
Big Sal
and
Sam Semino.
All right, you nerds. You asked for it. We're giving it to you. You wanted it. You got it. This is an episode for you, by you. This is the history of horror-related video games, arcade, and pinball. And coming up, we've got a wonderful interview with Mr. Doc Mack. He is the owner and operator of Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. It's the largest arcade in the world, and it's growing. So really cool interview, long interview. You're going to enjoy it. So you guys reached out to us, a few of you, and you gave us your list of what you think is the best horror games or your favorite horror games. And then I'm going to read that off. Everyone's going to get a shout out. And we'll go around the room, myself, Sal, Sam, and we'll tell you about our favorite ones or our best memories of what we used to play. But first, I got a convention report. So I went to Days of the Dead in Rosemont, Illinois, back in March, and always a fun time. This year's convention, I think it was really a sign of the times. It was dead.
Was it really?
There was like hardly anybody there. Usually on a Saturday at conventions, it's jam-packed.
No matter what it is, it's usually packed.
Shoulder to shoulder. And, of course, you get the one asshole in there who doesn't know how to wear deodorant, always stinking up the place. Not the case this year. It was dead. It was really empty. Plus, the guest list was just okay, I went to a couple panel discussions with some friends. Shout out to John and Krista. We had a very good time. The one panel that I thought was awesome, it was the Revenge of the Nerds panel. Not horror, but, it's Revenge of the Nerds. It was awesome. So, if you can recall, at the end of the film, the nerds do their rap song, okay? Well, they recreated it at the convention.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. Larry Scott, who played Lamar, gets up there and he starts doing, hey, everybody clap your hands. And then, the whole audience got into it, started singing along. And
him and Carradine made that movie, dude.
Yeah.
When they said, when he had to throw the javelins.
yeah, it's bouncing looks like a big dildo.
We calculated how his wrist action.
Yeah.
And Mike, when he was running, all you see is it go.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a big dildo. Hilarious. That was a good panel. Then the Ty West panel was very interesting. Guy's a great filmmaker. He's talking about how he got started, all his influences and stuff. By the way, if you want to see these panels, the moderator, her name is Summer. She has a YouTube page called Dolls of Horror. You can go on her YouTube page and watch all the panel discussions that she moderates at the conventions. She travels with Days of the Dead all over the country.
That's awesome, man. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Love to do that.
And she always asks really interesting questions too.
Yeah.
And she's good with the audience. So check those out. And then the last panel that I attended was the Predator panel. Bill Duke and Richard Chavez, who played Mack and Pancho, they were there. A couple old timers, but a lot of history with them. Bill Duke is also a filmmaker. He's done some good stuff.
Got a story about Bill Duke?
I do have a story of something that occurred at the panel discussion.
Only you, Mike.
Okay, so you've all seen Menace to Society. If you recall, Bill Duke has a very small part where he's investigating the lead character. He's interrogating him. And he at one point, he looks at him and goes, you fucked up, right? Famous line. So it comes time for the audience to ask questions at the panel. So I raise my hand and I say, hey, Bill, tell us, what are your memories of working on Dead Presidents? Bill looks at me and goes, I worked on Dead Presidents, and I'm flabbergasted right away because I'm not putting it together fast enough. And then someone yells out in the audience, "Menace to Society." He's like, "Oh yeah, Menace to Society." And then he looks at me, he goes, "You fucked up, right?" So he got me good.
You know what? You know what? I know it's.
We're gonna include that. That's on video. We're gonna include that right now.
You had one, right? Yeah.
Bill, what's your memories of working on Dead Presidents?
Memories of working on Dead Presidents.
I worked on Dead Presidents?
Memories.
Oh, Menace to
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. You ain't no fucked up, man.
You know, I know it's a horror convention, but I would have had to ask them about Commando.
Yeah, a couple people did.
I would have had to ask them about that because you know what? When it came out in '85, it was like a generic great movie.
Oh yeah,
for me.
That's got to be one of the most violent Schwarzenegger films.
Yeah.
I think that's got the most Schwarzenegger one-liners in it.
Do you think so?
Any of the Schwarzenegger
so?
movies,
Yeah.
Don't talk to my friend. He's dead tired
Yeah.
when he's on the airplane.
My favorite is with
Hang in there after he drops the guy.
No, it's with David Patrick Kelly. He says, "Remember, Sully, when I told you I'd kill you last? Yeah, that's right. You said that. I lied."
That's when you've seen the rope. You've seen the rope holding his leg. You know, Mikey, sometimes I wonder if they do that on purpose. You know, but the worst.
It was the 80s.
The worst I've ever seen on any film was that one with the Porsche. When it was all dented up, Arnold picks it up, moves it, and puts it back on all four wheels, and it's all brand new again.
Yes.
That was the worst.
They probably took the engine out in order for him to flip it.
You know what I saw one time, and it was fucking awesome, was like I got onto this fan edit website, and they put Metallica music over like the beginning of it as Master of Puppets, and it's the coolest fucking scene with like, you know, the garbage truck coming to kill the guy. It's like, dun, 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 dun.
But that movie, Commando, made its mark.
Oh yeah,
It did. I mean, it was just so awesome, man.
a movie for guys who like movies.
Yeah, that was a dude movie for sure.
A dude movie. Good shoot 'em up
for sure, man. And then I know a couple little tidbits. I know they wanted Arnold and Ray Dong Chong to have a love scene, and Arnold's like, "No, I don't think so. This wouldn't be fit for this movie." So he just opened her blouse. And then I do know for a fact that when he was getting ready on the island, when he
He's
put
like, I don't want the love scene. I'll just expose her titties.
I know he said two things. One was he cut his hand when he put the knife away.
Oh.
The Rambo knife. He actually cut his hand. And two is he wanted to be a little more defined than he was in Predator for this movie. Why? I don't know. I think it was because he was supposed to be was he a Navy SEAL guy? What was he? Special Forces?
In Commando?
In Commando, yeah. Was he a Navy SEAL?
Some kind of, I think he was Army.
Yeah, because he said he had to work on his body differently, and I'm like, man, the guy's huge. What did he working on?
He was definitely jacked for that one. They were all jacked for Predator.
Predator, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And the guys were actually talking about how they would train at 5 a.m. every day down in Mexico.
Yeah, and they all got sick.
They all
from
got
the water.
Sick. Well, they just ran out of food, and all the food that they had. They were in South America actually. Yeah. But all the food that they had was just bugs crawling on it every day.
Well, that and they were passing out.
Yeah.
You know, they were passing out from the heat.
Mm-hmm. But Richard Chavez, him and Jesse Ventura were real veterans.
Yeah. But Mike, in that kind of heat, and they're fully dressed with backpacks.
Oh yeah.
That must have been a brutal workout. Arnold said he was losing 10 pounds a day.
I bet.
Just from water.
Yeah,
sweat.
That was a great panel, even though I fucked up.
But you know what though, Mike? I do that all the time. It's not like you to do that.
I need to explain. The reason I got confused about Dead Presidents, the Hughes brothers directed both films, Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, and
even beside that,
the same actors in both films as well.
It's nerve-wracking to add your comment and to make sure you're,
Lorenz Tate.
Yeah. I mean, I
just watched Dead Presidents not too long ago.
I love Dead Presidents.
Keith David. You're thinking of Keith David in that movie.
Yeah. Talk about a killer soundtrack.
He was so funny in that.
Some of the
asshole
best
grabbed the wrong
60s
leg.
R&B.
Everybody knows I only got one leg.
Yeah.
I always think it's a horrific sight when they show Chris Tucker
after
he overdosed. His eyes are white.
Yeah.
And do you know who the cop was that busted in on him?
Tony Sirico.
Yeah, sure was.
Paulie Walnuts.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I couldn't handle when he became a reverend after he came back because his father was one when he chopped off that dude's head, man.
Oh, that dude, yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean, you hear the.
He's carrying it around. That's a great movie, man.
Oh,
love that one.
And he was carrying it around in his backpack, Mikey.
My favorite
was a psycho.
My favorite thing about that film is the soundtrack, and I think we have a future episode idea coming up: horror film soundtracks and scores.
Yeah. You just brought it up today, yeah.
I've been thinking about it a while, but now it's out there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, convention was okay. There is another one coming up in May. It's not Days of the Dead. The name escapes me, but it's there's a company called GalaxyCon that does conventions all over the country or the world, and they're bringing a horror one in May to the Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. It's the first weekend in May. I will not be attending that one, but it is happening.
Do we have any names? Who's going to be there?
Yeah, I'm not going to give any out, but if you just look up, oh God, GalaxyCon Chicago May, you'll find the convention. It might be called something with like dreams or nightmares, something like that. I forget. But,
You'll either find it or you won't.
Yeah, and then of course in August, Flashback Weekend is coming, and that's always a good time.
Yeah.
So Chicago is the place to be for horror movie conventions. Also, about Chicago. Recently, I went to Terror Vision's pop-up video rental store, which is located right next to the Music Box Theater in Chicago. I went there opening night just to kind of walk in and see what it was all about. Reason I went, I ran into the owners at the convention. They had a vendor booth, and they were telling me, about their soft opening for it's like a 6-month run for they're doing a pop-up. So you can go in there, you can rent films, you could rent VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays.
A lot of people are still doing that, Mike.
I mean,
a lot of people are still doing that, dude.
It's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
So I go in there, and who do I run into right away? Joe Swanberg. You may not know the name, but you'll definitely recognize his face.
Doesn't sound familiar.
He's an actor and a filmmaker. He's done a lot of horror. He's done a little bit of everything. You might know himself from You're Next.
Oh, which one was he?
He was one of the bad guys.
I just watched that again, and I text Sammy. I said, Sammy, I just watched You're Next, and I forgot how violent it was.
That's a good one.
It was violent.
They're supposed to be making like a sequel to it. I think.
hope so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So he's collaborated a lot with Ty West and Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. I just said hi to him, shook his hand, told him I like his movies.
Yeah.
That was neat. So yeah, Terror Vision. They have their it's Terror Vision and Grave Face. It's the same guy that runs both. He's got the museum in Savannah, Georgia. He's got the museum on the north side of Chicago, and now they have this little pop-up store. So if you're in Chicago for the next 6 months, go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're ready to jump in here and talk about video games, huh?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, okay, I've got a list. A lot of friends, fans, listeners contacted us and gave us their picks. So these are in no particular order. These are fan favorites and also what people think are the best. I'm going to start out here with our good buddy, Tony Chavez.
Excellent
What's up,
dude.
Tony?
Excellent dude.
One of my best friends there.
Great guy.
So he says, Fatal Frame, Dead Space 2, The Callisto Protocol, Outlast, Resident Evil from 1996, The Evil Within, and Resident Evil 7. I think Resident Evil is going to be a popular one that everybody picks. I do recall it was a fun one to play, fun one to watch.
You say Dead Space on there too?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Dead Space and Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tony. Appreciate it, man. Tony lives in Bridgeport, right by it's an awesome heavy metal little dive bar called Electric Funeral. 35th and Halstead. You got to check out this place. It's excellent.
Why is that, Mikey?
They play great music in there. It's not, I wouldn't call it like hipster or anything like that. It's just fun. Sometimes they have DJs in there. I think they might have like karaoke, but great drinks served in there. Great staff. The same staff runs Jackalope Coffee, also on Halstead in Bridgeport. So, and that's a heavy metal coffee house.
Okay.
And also horror themed. Not so much heavy metal. Horror themed coffee house.
Okay.
So Bridgeport's got it going on. Okay, my fellow stagehand and sound engineer, good buddy David Fromberg says PT. I'm kind of familiar with this one. He did explain it to me. I think it's zombies. PT. All right.
It was like I think it was like a Silent Hills offshoot or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Silent Hill's cool.
I remember, I think I did play that. There was it was based off you get like a lot of jump scares and shit like that.
That's probably why he said, jump scares. Another coworker says Night Trap from Sega CD. That's got to be an old school one. Sega CD was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Night Trap. Okay. Bill from Toe Eye Ear says Eternal Darkness. Toe Eye Ear. Horror movie, t-shirt, and sticker company. You can find Bill at Cigars and Stripes the last Tuesday of each month. I know I've promoted this before. The last Tuesday of each month at Cigars and Stripes in Berwyn is the Monster and Meatball Night. Monster movies and meatball subs. You got to love it.
You can't beat that.
Hosted by Seeley, the ghoul next door. Yeah. Toe Eye Ear. I'm pretty sure, you could just Google search them and find out all about them. Great merch. Awesome shirts and stickers. I got some of his stickers on the back of my bumper. So thank you, Bill. Next, we got Gary Fitzpatrick. My good friend Gary. We go way back. Gary's a musician. You can currently find him playing guitar in a tribute to women of country called Sugar Hill Band. Gary says, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Witcher 3, Splatterhouse, and Carnival.
All right.
Splatterhouse. I think that was an arcade.
Never played it. Don't know it. Yeah.
I think it was on either Super Nintendo or regular Nintendo. But it was banned. It was banned in certain markets.
Why is that?
Well, I think the lead character looked too much like Jason Voorhees. And it was bloody and violent.
Okay.
Some of those are some deep cuts people are providing you.
Yeah,
For
dude.
sure, yeah. And I do appreciate the deep cuts. Okay.
We'll have to do like a fully fleshed out episode on like some deep cuts and the history of video games.
Sure. That's kind of, that's what the interview is going to kind of be about as we get to it. My fellow coworker, stagehand, sound engineer, my good buddy Steven Durenberger says Death Race from 1976 arcade. Check out Steven's YouTube page, Blackberry Dreams, for some excellent content. Next up, good buddy Fernando Tayutli, aka FT Smooth. He says The Evil Within, Manhunt, Dead by Daylight, Clock Tower, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Dead Space, and The Suffering.
Everybody with Dead Space.
That's I think I don't know if I ever played it, but I know of it. Like you're out in outer space and you're
in outer space.
I think you're fighting zombies or something.
Gotcha.
You're an engineer that's sent to investigate like a mining ship.
Ooh,
it's almost like Alien kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
That's kind of what it is. They're called. I think it's like kind of a blatant ripoff. If I remember right, they're called like necromorphs or something like that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
That's neat.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. I remember that was a big like jump scare thing.
Last but not least, good buddy Ken Pro Rock says Splatterhouse, Carnival, House of the Dead 2, Halloween the Pinball Game, and Tales from the Crypt the Pinball Game. Some excellent picks, friends. Again, thank you for choosing these and reaching out to us. And
nice.
That was the whole point of this episode. Is it's for you by you. So
the Halloween
we did
pinball
it.
game, by the way, is a poster. I have that same poster that's like behind Sal, the artist that did behind the behind space, behind the portal behind Sal. But the artist for that is Jason Edmiston. Is really cool. Yeah, he does a lot of cool shit.
Awesome.
Nice.
So I'm going to tell you my favorites. I mean, I'm not a big gamer as much as I used to be. I started out with the Commodore 64. Then there was Nintendo and ColecoVision and Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. But I have fond memories of my Xbox 360, and I had a game on there called Dead Rising.
I remember that game.
That was a lot of fun. It was like an action-adventure game where you had to do all these missions and rescue people. It's kind of like Dawn of the Dead because you're in a mall.
Oh, you're in a mall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Dead Rising was one of my favorites. And then also on Xbox 360, I played Alan Wake, which was like, to me, like a Stephen King novel come to life.
I remember that. I played that.
That one was fun. A lot of jump scares. You got to shine a flashlight on a ghost in order to make it like explode.
Nice.
So how about you, Sal? What are some of your favorite games?
You know what? I know you know this place, the place in Ogden.
Galloping Ghost.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time. And they had a lot of pinballs, but they were the first guys that I seen. First place I seen, which actually had to the actual games. They weren't pinballs, because all you seen was Kiss and about a lot of Rock Band pinballs. But I remember playing what's with the robots? They're silver.
Terminator?
No, they were really cool looking. They had like a fin on their head. Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
Battlestar Galactica. I was playing that. I was playing a lot of Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
They had an Evil Dead. Later, much later, because it was 84, they had brought out the Terminator. Love that. Love the Terminator machine. What else did I play? Because you got to remember, I'm a lot older than you guys. Because when I was playing Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah, I had that. I had
Mario,
Duck Hunt.
Even Pac-Man got those scary ghosts.
Yeah,
I had Pac-Man. I had it. We had a Pac-Man machine in our basement.
Nice. You know what I got hooked on? I got hooked on Casper.
Okay.
Casper, I got hooked on that pinball machine, because I really wasn't a pinball machine person. I liked it, but I wanted arcade, and that's what that place was. And it was smaller. I mean, it just seemed like small back
it's
then.
huge now. It's
that's
the
what you were
largest
saying.
Arcade in the world.
Yeah.
And he has plans of expanding and building a second and third floor, maybe.
Really?
He owns about 6 buildings on Ogden Avenue, and one of them is the pinball arcade.
Wow.
And then
a lot of people still like them, man.
the regular arcade is a separate building.
But I just drove by it the other day. I went to Tony's.
Oh, yeah.
I love Tony's.
Tony's is great.
Though, Mike, the biggest game that you'd have to go really early to get is Space Invaders. You had to,
sure.
Dude,
He's got all of those.
Everybody was on that, man. And I just, man, you had to you're sweating there, waiting, and there was always this kid that, I got to reach up to 922 million. Dude, you're only at 100,000 right now, but Space Invaders was probably my favorite.
He's got them all there.
Probably my favorite.
Oh, yeah. How about any console games?
Console games, probably.
Because you have 2 sons.
Yeah.
So what did they play?
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I love Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
Tomb Raider I could be there all day and all night. No problem. Because actually one of the guys I work with at the Hyatt had brought it to work. And, he goes, hey, how did you make her flip? And I didn't know what I was doing, and I said, well, you just hit the control like the, this and this. But probably Tomb Raider was my favorite.
One
Raider was awesome.
One thing we actually didn't talk about, I think maybe we mentioned it in the interview with Doc Mack, but horror-related video games that were adapted into film.
Yeah.
There's only been a small amount of them.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. There's been a lot of them.
I only know of how.
Horror video games.
Yeah,
but,
I could think of a couple.
That's how deep you're going.
I can think of House of the Dead,
Bad.
Resident Evil.
Used to play that in the arcades.
I'm sorry, Mike. I love those.
House of the Dead?
Yes.
You talking about the game or the movie?
Both.
No.
The games were awesome. There was like a Time Crisis type version one where you play with a gun and it goes.
You know, Mike. You know, I know what you dudes are talking about. Because I'm sure that movie, was there 3 of them?
I don't. I think they did make a few sequels.
I'm pretty sure.
Uwe Boll is so terrible.
I know there was 2 of them, but there might have been a 3rd one. But it wasn't like very costly movie, but it was just something different. I'm like, oh, I liked it. I liked it. And I loved Resident Evil movies. I know you don't like your favorite's not Mila.
No.
But I loved those, man. I don't
know. Those never did much for me.
No?
The Resident Evil movies.
I mean, the guy with the big hammer.
Yeah.
He kind of related to the guy from oh my God, Sammy.
Is that Silent Hill?
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
It's almost the
Silent
exact
Hill
same
was
dude.
made in it, yeah.
Silent. You know what I told Sam when I first seen both Silent Hills. I was like, this is a piece of shit. But then when I rewatched them, I fell in love with them. And I did mention to my nephew that they're making a 3rd one.
Oh.
They're making a 3rd Resident Evil.
I'm
sorry, a Silent Hill. I think it's Return to Silent Hill or something like that.
Yeah, I did hear they were making a remake of that.
Yeah.
I like the first one.
I think both
first
of them.
one's all right.
Because you know what? I like the nurses. They can't see, and the way they move and stuff, and the guy with the big thing on his head, and he's got the the spikes in his. Oh,
It's like an anvil or something, but it's like straight out. Yeah.
brutal.
Triangle head or
And,
something.
and it's just the way they move, Mike, because they like kind of click. You know, click, click, click.
They're
click,
in some other dimension.
Yeah. But I think
bones cracking.
The second one, that little actress, the little blonde, I love her. She's amazing in that movie. She made that whole movie so believable.
So Sam, what are some of your favorite picks?
Well, first I was also going to say that Five Nights at Freddy's, another one they turned into a game.
I didn't know that was a game.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
My first pick would also, it's kind of turned into a movie a little bit. Alien Isolation.
Okay,
That's a good one. You guys play that? That's a recent one. Maybe 2019, I think that came out or so.
I know of it.
Yeah, you play as Amanda Ripley, Ripley's daughter.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't know, 15 years after the events of the last one, or 20 years, something like that. But
You know what I rewatched the other day? You put it on Plex, and I was like, oh, man, I haven't seen this probably since it came out. Alien 3.
oh, that's actually the legacy cut, like that these like fan edit dudes put together.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, it's like a fan edit basically.
Is
I
that
didn't
the
like
prison
it.
one? Is that the prison one?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not like it.
It was bad. It was bad.
So
It's not the best
that's
one.
not the theatrical cut.
Even David Fincher is like hates that fucking
It
movie.
was horrible.
Yeah.
He directed it, right?
David Fincher, yeah. But yeah, there's like studio meddling and bad CGI.
Yeah, there was bad CGI. The alien
mean,
looked way
And then
too.
they had a dog alien. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think that's in the legacy cut, isn't it? The dog?
The dog. The alien comes out of the dog.
Yeah, something like that.
What was Ripley's first name? I know they said
Ellen.
one. Was it Ellen?
Ellen.
Because which one did they finally say her first name? Was it the second one?
Yeah, probably
Was it the second
aliens.
one? They didn't. They never said it the first one. I know that, but I think because I think when she found
I think Paul Reiser says her name.
what's her face? What's the little girl's name?
Newt.
Newt. I think she told Newt what her name was.
Oh, okay.
My memory serves me correct.
Yeah, but Alien Isolation, there's a lot of influence on the newest one, Romulus.
Okay.
Like there's in the background of the movie, you see like the save boxes from the game and stuff, and there's little Easter eggs from the game.
Did you like Romulus?
Yeah, I thought it was
loved
great.
it.
Yeah.
I loved it. A lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I loved it, man. I thought it was
That
awesome.
good. I like that. I like that actress, the lead actress.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been playing a lot of like weird like fantasy sci-fi games, like horror kind of like Elden Ring in the last couple of years. A lot of Souls games.
So you still play?
Sekiro. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you still play, Mike?
No.
I can't. I'm so uncoordinated, but
I am due to go back to Galloping Ghost for a visit. For those of you who have never been there, it's great. You could take the Metro and get off right there on Ogden. And there's a brewery there. There's a couple Mexican restaurants. You can come and go as much as you want. You pay once, and you can come and leave as much as you want. Same with the pinball. It's definitely worth a trip.
yeah. You know what? I'm starting to hear a lot more women are more gamers. You know, because I'm on the Facebook thing, the website, and I'm a gamer. Yeah, I'm a gamer. I'm like, oh man, a lot of women are gamers, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of women are gamers.
But there's been in the last couple of years, before they had to like take it down because of copyright notices or whatever, there was a Friday the 13th game that was really awesome.
Oh yeah.
You play like either as one of the campers
Yeah.
or you play as Jason.
When that came out,
John loves that one.
When that
Yeah.
came out, Friday the 13th one, it was all over the place. It was, I don't care. You could go shopping. It was in the mall right there, new Friday the 13th, and I'm like, damn, that game must be pretty freaking violent or pretty good. One of the
It
two,
was
but-
fun. Yeah. I think like
Yeah.
your main objective was to get the car started. So you had to go and find
The
like,
car started.
yeah, you had, if you were playing as one of the campers, you had to like go find, the battery, and then like you put the battery in there. You're like, oh fuck, like I need new wires now to connect it. Oh shit, go find that. And like you're sneaking around as like you see Jason walking, and it's like you're always playing it. It was like a player versus player thing. So you're
Oh,
always
nice.
But you
Yeah,
can
everybody-
play as Jason too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
It
Mike,
was like a just a weird draw, like whoever got to play Jason.
when him and his brother were really young and they first started coming out with the games and stuff like that, they showed me this one. They showed me this one scene. That actually, it was Lou, his brother Lou. He had said, "Hey, Unc, watch this. I can get a hooker in the car." What was the name of it?
Oh, it's probably
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. And I'm like, what? What did you just say to me? Yeah, Unc. I mean, they were small. And he goes, yeah, I could, have a hooker in the back seat, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The game is crazy.
But Mike, I'm such a bonehead. I'm so old. You know what was the best favorite game I would play for days and your cousin Anthony hooked it up for me. Deer Hunter.
Not based on the film.
No. It was just called Deer Hunter. I mean, Mike, you could be there for a half hour, and they gave you the tools, and the call of deer, it's like, and then you got the sights. You use a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I used to play the Cabela games.
Oh my God, Mike! I'd be there for hours and nights playing that game because your cousin Anthony.
You know what? I don't think they have at the arcade. They don't have like Big Buck Hunter with the rifle.
Oh,
I don't think they have that.
This you had a shotgun.
Oh yeah,
Mike.
Those Cabela games are fun.
Mike, they had a double barrel.
Yeah.
You don't take a double barrel shot or hunting with you. So they had that. They had a high powered rifle. You could be in a tree, and the greatest thing is you can go to winter. You can hear the snow. You can hear the summer, the rain. It was just so cool.
I think Bass Pro Shop put out a game on Xbox 360. I know Cabela put out like at least 10. Yeah. They're super fun, man.
Well, all these Xboxes and PlayStations, I couldn't turn that damn thing on. I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. I was never that high, quality of a player.
There's another one I've been watching recently, or I've been playing recently too. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They released that game not too long ago. Yeah.
Really?
So that's the one that Kane Hodder modeled for and did all the moves. As for Leatherface.
Did he?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's the same concept as the Friday the 13th one. Is like you either play as one of the people that like are being hunted by the family, or you play as the family.
Oh wow!
So you can play as like Leatherface. You can play as like the hitchhiker dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good knife.
Is there a Freddy one, Sammy?
No, there used to be like way back in.
Were there used to be
on old school NES?
Yeah.
Jesus,
that one was.
What
fun.
is that?
There was also one
Nintendo.
on Atari. I think there was.
A Freddy game?
Yeah.
No, the only one was Nintendo.
Really?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I know there was a Friday the 13th one on the
Nintendo.
I'm sorry, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was
That's
on Atari.
Yeah.
That Nintendo game.
Atari 2600.
If you think about it now, it was probably the cheapest made game ever.
Well, I remember the original Friday the 13th game. At the end, when you face Jason, you get in a boxing match with him, and he's wearing purple pajamas.
Yeah, but Mike, the Nintendo, it was just this looked like an old clock radio, and you put it looked like an 8-track tape. I remember Anthony would be playing that Sammy. I go, what the hell is that kid doing?
You have to blow on it to get the dust out.
That's like the second edition of the Nintendo.
Oh my God!
When they made them smaller.
I don't even think there was lights on the damn thing.
Well, you had the power and the reset button.
Yeah.
It was so old.
I used to love my Nintendo.
And Mike, there was this little tiny dip switch. To turn it on.
You know what we had? We had the power pad, so you could do like the track and field games. And our dog ate the connector, so you couldn't plug it in anymore.
Oh no, Mike, no. The classic was his brother Lou. I went down there one day and I hear like, "Hey Lou, you hear that?" And he goes, "What do you hear, Hunk?" I go, I hear like a blowing noise. And he goes, "Oh, that's my game. It's got a little fan on it."
Yeah.
I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh, the controllers, to keep your hands dry.
Yeah, a fucking fan on it, Mike. Built in.
Or some of them had like speakers inside the remote control.
Okay, that's different. But a little fan.
N64 had rumble packs.
Yeah, rumble packs.
A little fan. Come on, buddy.
Now they all do that though. All the controllers and shit.
Oh yeah.
When he told me that, I was crying, dude.
I play on my Steam Deck.
Your Steam Deck.
It's like a big giant Game Boy. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got, folks. If you have any favorite horror related video games, arcade, pinball, let us know. Comment on this video and tell us. So coming up, we have this interview again with Doc Mack. He is the owner and operator of Galloping Ghost in Brookfield, Illinois.
Galloping Ghost.
Yeah. So stick around and we'll say goodbye after the interview. So here it is. Enjoy. This is Doc Mack. Hey everybody, Mike here from the Last Three Rows of Horror podcast, and today I'm here with my buddy Roberto Rios and the owner and operator of Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois, Doc Mack. And today we're talking about the history of horror-related video games and arcade games. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing well.
Doing well.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks
Epic day so far.
For sure.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Roberto, we'll start with you. And Doc, you could answer the same question too. What is your earliest memory of playing a horror-related video game or arcade, and which one was it?
Well, I'll say right off the bat, the one I actually got like entrenched in and didn't even mind not playing the game, because there was always someone who owned the game. I never owned it personally, but he would come to my house to play it as kind of like entertainment. Mm-hmm. And that one, a lot of jump scares. That one was, for me, gave me like anxiety. Watching someone play and kind of interacting. Mm-hmm. That was, I think, the scary part for me, was kind of like, don't go this way or go that way. And then the result at the end, like, you have make a wrong choice, you get dead. I didn't, he would play the whole game. Shout out to my old school friend BJ. He was like a Sega Genesis guy, mm-hmm. and PlayStation. He owned it. He brought it over after school, and people from school would come and watch us play, because he had like a pre-sale order of it. Mm. He was like, for something like firsthand, got it earlier before anybody else. Big video game guy. So for me, it was Resident Evil.
That was the game?
That was the game.
Okay.
Nothing else really scared me. Everything was kind of funny, but that one kind of gave me like...
That one was chock full of jump scares, from what I recall. Because I would watch my friends play it, because I was never very good at playing video games, but I could always enjoy watching my friends play it. Same with arcades, too. Like, I had a friend who was a whiz at Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and people would line up to face him, and he would just whip anybody's ass. Like, he was just that damn good.
Challenge accepted, right?
Right, yeah. Doc, how about you?
My first memory of playing a horror game the one that jumps out the most would easily be Castlevania. Mm-hmm. I was very much into Atari 7800 and had played like Haunted, I think it was called Haunted House, mm-hmm. on there, but I don't even remember that game, but I know Castlevania was basically like all the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
So it was so memorable, and that was really the tipping point, seeing that game. A friend of mine had it, and it was like, I want to be playing that. Mm-hmm. And the entire reason I switched from Atari to an 8-bit Nintendo was Castlevania.
Hell yeah. Gotta love that whip.
It was iconic. It was very interesting to watch the series progress, and it's played through it not too long ago, so it still holds up.
Excellent. You mentioned Resident Evil. I recently watched a documentary about George Romero. He was slated to direct a Resident Evil movie, but I think the carpet got pulled out from under him, and he got fired off the project. But it's a very interesting documentary. Come to find out, Resident Evil was based on a Japanese game that they also made a horror movie about, and didn't become that popular. Of course, Resident Evil, was universally well liked, but its origin came from Japan. At least that's what they said in the documentary. What's that?
Do you remember the name of the documentary?
It's brand new. I think it's called. I don't know the exact title, but it's like George Romero and Resident Evil.
So George Romero was in that documentary.
Yeah, well,
He was
old footage, because he's been passed away for a few years now.
Why wouldn't you want him on the project? That would have been like a big...
He was gonna do it, and then something got canceled, and I think was it Paul Anderson directed Resident Evil? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a video game to movie.
Correct. Yeah, but I guess it's either they made the game in Japan and then the film, or they made the film first and then the game.
Well, the Biohazard, which was the Japanese Resident Evil, was a tribute to classic zombie movies.
Yeah.
And they did, I think George Romero did do some commercials.
Yes.
For the Japanese Resident Evil.
Yes.
The games themselves, the Japanese version versus the U.S. version, it was what made PlayStation what it was when that came out. And the movies, in all honesty, I've never watched any of the movies because it's so not following like the game. The game I thought was just so perfect. As the arcade has opened, I've kind of shifted I play less and less console. But Resident Evil is the one game that I haven't missed one.
Yeah.
So.
Is in the films, Mia Jovovich's character, is that character even in the video games?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
The first Resident Evil was Chris and Jill, and then Claire and Leon were in the second game. Mm-hmm. And it's a cohesive story through all of them. Somewhat, and they've kind of changed the origins of things throughout, but it's all about Umbrella, and it's it all ties together. The movies, again, I know a lot of people that really like them, but
they're not my favorite.
It's one of those. Playing the games as much as I did, it's very similar to like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
When the movies came out, the original actors from the games, like those were the characters. Mm-hmm. So the movie didn't really match up to what the game was doing, and just a little, just different direction. I understand you got to do that for movies sometimes, but
sure,
it just
didn't they attempt on the second Resident Evil movie to kind of match some of the video game characters into the movie? Like some of the uniforms, I think someone had like some officer version of. Because you start off as a cop in the part 2, don't you?
In part 2, Leon, yeah.
That was I liked the beginning of that one, and the game was a little bit better. Not less of that walking sound, footstep sound, which was kind of iconic in the first one. Was walking down the hall. Those sounds too. I mean, the music and the sounds, it's what builds the tension. Like for me.
Sure.
That helps a lot. And I know you have a lot of experience in like the music part of, since you were in the game development. You did a lot of your own music. Was there any tracks that you kind of wanted to lay down to kind of achieve that sense of like that fear in like the player or whoever interacting or listening to the music?
There's so many. Resident Evil does it so well where the sounds and the ambient noises, there's not a lot, and it's to make every sound fit so well. And that was really the big thing that was for true horror. Building up the suspense and the tension and everything was such a big part of it. With our game Dark Presence, it being a fighting game, there's not too much that really lends to that atmospheric music writing. With the exception of the finishing moves, which we literally have an apprehension engine, which it's for making ambient sounds. They used it on the movie The Witch.
Yes.
There was only 10 of them made, and it does what it's meant to do so well. It gives so many unique noises and creepy sounds that it really, for the finishing moves, it really lends to it so well.
Definitely. We've actually mentioned that instrument because we've covered The Witch on our podcast a few times, and that's pretty neat.
Yeah, they weren't sure they weren't going to do a production run of it. And just talking with those guys, it's a lot of work to make them.
Oh, for sure.
It was
craftsmanship.
It really is. It's the woodwork on it, and it's just a lot of things going on with it. So they finally agreed to make 10 of them, and they sold out instantly. And
you
we
got
were very
one.
fortunate to pick one up. Yeah.
That's great, man.
3D print it, maybe?
You can't. Well, I don't know if you could print the strings.
No.
Maybe. So you mentioned Dark Presence. We're going to get into that a little later because I want to talk about your arcade. But you mentioned, Resident Evil. Was that a game that you would play in the dark to further like enhance the scares? Like, was it that game's all about the atmosphere?
Oh, yeah. The lights went off when we played it. It's like make sure all the lights are off and everyone hush hush. So like I said, we didn't want to miss any sound because some of the sounds were part of the game. Like something's coming. Or there's that moment where like, oh, something's happening because it's too quiet. Those kind of moments, Of course, lights off was a must.
So, Roberto, getting back to you, what do you think it is that draws people to play a scary game?
Besides hearing from other people who played it.
Word of mouth?
Word of mouth, but I don't see too much like promotion stuff on TV. I don't watch as much TV as I used to, so I'm not up to date with like those type of games that are, when they're coming out.
You don't really
But-
see video game commercials anymore. I mean, some.
Maybe
I
would
think what like
magazines that
Yeah.
would promote it, and the covers, like walking past like the game magazines, gamer magazines, will show it like. Then I would know.
I just remember there being like so many Xbox and Xbox One commercials. You'd hear the sound of zoom. You don't really see those commercials that often.
I can't say I have.
It's now marketing is so it's all online. Like there's, and they know that they know where to go to get the people that they want to see their game is coming out. Like they don't need, like a game like Resident Evil. They could do TV commercials, but the fan base already knows. Like they're so on top of what's coming out. And the amount of people buying games in general, it's ballooned to just a game will sell 8 million copies. It'll sell like it's nothing like it was in the 90s where they were having to push to get a few 100,000 copies sold. There's so many casual gamers, and the name alone will definitely sell a game in a lot of instances.
I stand corrected. Every week I do hear about a new game coming out on a Monday. That I don't know why I didn't think of that before. He always has a release, a new game on a Monday.
Arcade?
Yeah, for the last 9 years we haven't missed a Monday yet, and we add a new arcade game to the floor. So it's the tradition is kind of changing soon, where we're literally out of space. We're gonna kind of cap the arcade at 1,030 machines.
Woo!
But
number.
there'll be a new game that'll come out, and then it'll go away after a week. So it'll be until the next expansion.
We're going to get into the history of the arcade in a minute. Doc, what have been some of your favorite horror-related video games over the years, and why?
Oh, Castlevania, again, probably number one. Splatterhouse was such a huge game. Made literally worldwide news when the world record was set here. We had two players going back and forth. Anthony Paparo and Caitlin Oliver were going back and forth for the world record in that. And that got a lot of exposure.
Splatterhouse?
Yep. Yeah, that was a huge deal when that world record changed hands.
That game was banned in some markets, wasn't it?
Criticism of when it came out, I think.
It wasn't really banned for the blood and gore. It was more they had to make changes to the U.S. version because of the copyright of
Jason?
Yeah.
That's who I thought of when
The
I
hockey
first saw
mask.
it.
Yeah,
And the
it was
jumpsuit.
Too much. Too similar. So in the TurboGrafx version on the US, he has a purple mask.
Okay.
But the Japanese one, he has still just a white.
Oh, wow.
Roberto, what have been some of your favorites over the years, and why?
Well, the Resident Evil one with the follow-ups, which continued it, were great. Splatterhouse, I'm pretty sure I had it on TurboGrafx. I had a TurboGrafx.
TurboGrafx 16.
And when I bought it, it had Box Adventure, but I saw Splatterhouse. I can't remember if I saw it on a commercial on TV or on a magazine cover, but just the blood and gore and the fact that it looked like Jason was like a thing for me to. And it was kind of hard to maneuver to get it since I was still living in my parents' house, and my mom was kind of like making sure the stuff I would bring into the house didn't affect my siblings. Because I had younger siblings, and I'd play these games, and I'd have to play in my room. But that's another thing too, like the age that certain games for like they're the audience.
I'm going to ask you guys about censorship in a little while.
That was one game, Splatterhouse. It's hard to think now because I was a big fighting game guy.
Okay.
So not too many fighting games that I remember besides Primal Fear was kind of one, like a MonsterVerse game.
Dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, fighting dinosaurs. I know you have Primal Fear 2.
Primal Rage.
Primal Rage. Primal Rage. Primal Rage 2, which didn't really go out, right? It like the company was bought out or stopped, and
Atari was putting it out, and Midway bought them, and the game was canceled.
Okay.
Midway, they had they had 6 games that were in development that when that happened, Midway just canceled them.
Is Midway Games still around?
Not as it was. Midway, most of their IPs were picked up by Warner Brothers, and including Mortal Kombat was the big one. And now there's NetherRealm Studios, or NRS, which is still based near Chicago.
I was going to ask that.
And still Ed Boon heading it up, and the new Mortal Kombat 1, they've added... You can see where the horror element in Mortal Kombat is so... there's such fans of it, because they've added, as side characters, in MK9 they had Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah.
Texas, they had Leatherface,
right,
and Jason, and...
those are...
I remember in NBA Jam, you could unlock characters, and Ed Boon was one of them that you could unlock.
Yeah.
But no one knew who the hell he was, but it was like, okay, here's some guy named Ed Boon. That's funny. So, Roberto, what gaming system had the best horror video games, in your opinion?
Well, the Nintendo, the NES and the Super Nintendo was pretty much the ones I had after, like I had Atari, but those I stuck with the Nintendo consoles. I think Friday the 13th was on one I owned on the NES.
Nintendo.
And that one was because of the movie. I was expecting, total complete fear playing it, and it was more like a lot of walking around. You didn't know the.
And then you get to box him at the end.
Yeah, like that in the rooms that. But back then, I mean, I guess that was the height of the technology back then. It was like that. I don't know if there was anything else other than that, but at the time I thought it was awesome, even though the gameplay itself was kind of like lackluster. A lot of walking around looking for keys, and didn't really relate to the movie as much.
Right.
I thought as I anticipated it to. But that was like the first one I can remember that was actually a horror based game that I wanted because of a movie.
So you're going with Nintendo?
Yeah, PlayStation was. You know what? I'll go PlayStation because it was Resident Evil, and that was the one game I played with the most, and bought the follow-up games, and I could still play that game. So,
Doc, same question. What do you think? What was the best system?
For her, I would have to say probably the original. The PlayStation having the original Resident Evil and RE2 and RE3, like those were. Even now, the games that are coming out with. Like Resident Evil Village, and they have that horror element to them still, and still zombies, and in Village werewolves and things like that. But because the games have been more kind of brought into a action game instead of a slower paced game, there's still tension in them, but it was so different where in the original Resident Evil, you had such a finite amount of bullets, and the forced camera angles, it literally gave such a strong horror movie element to it, because the forced camera angles, without a floating camera, they set up a shot where they could give you those jump scares.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I played the Resident Evil remake, I played the original and it was like, okay, I know there's a dog that jumps through this one window.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And it did. And I was like, okay. And then I walked through the next door. Nothing happened. And then I'm coming back, and then the dog jumps through. And I dropped my controller, and it bothered me so much that I dropped my controller. I paused it. I was like, okay.
Mack
They got you.
It did, because it was like I became It's such the perfect setup. It's like
Right.
the complacency. So even if I had played the game before, that complacency, they knew I was going to be like that. And that's how you can really utilize like the understanding of your players and giving them something that they're not expecting and startle them.
But that makes them come back for more.
It's true. The problem with it is that people don't like it. They outwardly are like, oh, it's too slow, it's too this. And that's why everything has become so much more action based. And
They like fast pace.
yeah, like more players like fast paced than a slow paced, creepy, like where they just want to run and shoot stuff. And it's unfortunate that because there's more people like that, we lose out on these. Like Resident Evil was just a masterpiece. Every camera shot in that game was so well done. And again, paying tribute to movies like Night of the Living Dead, where they just had such great camera angles that really sold the shot and were impactful. And now it's just floating cameras, run and gun, and I love them, but they've lost that classic feel to them.
You could say the same about horror movies in general. Some are real slow burns, where it's a very slow pace. It takes a while to get to the scare, and then some is just like super fast pace. It's all action being shoved down your throat right away, and it's a nonstop roller coaster ride till the end credits. So you get that with video games.
True.
Okay, Roberto, which one of your favorite horror video games or arcade games have been adapted into films?
Let's see. Oh, I like the shooting games. So for me, it was House of the Dead. The House of
That movie's terrible.
But the game, I love the game so much that I didn't mind a bad horror movie. You know, I didn't mind it.
Oh boy.
But when that game came out, I was actually working at Namco Entertainment downtown at right before Navy Pier. It was North Pier, and they had an arcade up there. And I worked there for like 2.5 years. Right across from there, they had like a BattleTech virtual reality game, like where you go inside and play. So they had the House of the Dead, and I love the way they set up the game. Like how you have the Castlevania game there, like, you know, you're like enclosed and you got the rags hanging down. So you don't see the rest of the arcade behind you. You're like in there, like in the game. So the House of the Dead, they had a setup similar to that where you were inside and playing the shooting games with the pedal, and then you know. So that for me was that, because I loved this.
Yeah, part of that was driving.
That game, like half the time I was at work.
Yeah.
You know, and I would when we would get it, we would put it together. Kind of similar. I did something similar to like when I used to work at Ford City Cinema in the movies.
They had a good arcade.
Yeah, they had arcades there, and I was the one making sure they were running. I would turn them on each morning. Turn on at the beginning of my shift. Make sure no one's messing with them. Make sure the kids aren't like hanging off the joysticks, which really bugged me. So I would work the floor as a supervisor, making sure the games were playable. Because then once they go down, we didn't really have a technician there to come fix it. Someone had to come.
You worked there with your buddies, right?
Yeah, I got all my friends in there, and same thing with the arcade. But putting the standees and the posters up and the promotional stuff was awesome. So, but anything horror theme was even better.
That sounds
so
fun.
For me,
as hell.
House of the Dead was great.
Doc, same question. What were your favorite games that were adapted into films?
Favorite horror games adapted into film. There's a lot that go the other way, like
Yes.
Silent Hill, but Games 2 horror movie. Yeah, nothing's even really jumping to mind. Like I know of like House of the Dead was the one that jumped to mind first, and Resident Evil, but it's like
Did they do an Area 51 movie?
I don't think so.
There's
That was a no, but that was kind of like
a bunch of movies about it, but there's a game.
Yeah, there's a game.
Okay.
With the purple aliens. That one's a good one.
So, Roberto, do you think censorship is a good thing when it's applied to games? Do you think it works to protect kids from the violence that's portrayed?
I would say at least that you notify a gamer, they beware. We give them a warning signs. I mean, some of them say you have to be like a certain age. Do they even do that anymore?
Age restriction, I'm sure.
And especially to buy it. Do they do that? I mean, most games now, kids buy them online.
You see, in the commercials, you see like rated E for everyone. You know.
But I don't think that ever really restricts anybody. So I bought stuff when I shouldn't have, and I guess it depends on who's selling it.
I think it's similar to like the PMRC for music in the '80s. They came up with a list of Filthy 15, and they were trying to ban stuff. They just made those album sales go through the roof because people wanted to actually hear what the controversy was.
The Streisand effect, that's what they called it.
The Streisand effect. Yeah. So Doc, same question. Do you think censorship is a good thing when it's applied to games?
No, never. It's one of those things where everything changed when Mortal Kombat came out and the ESRB, which was the rating system, really started. It kind of gets into the whole violence in video games thing. I've done many panels about that. I think it's up to the parents. Like I was watching horror movies. Like I saw The Exorcist and Extro and Humanoids from the Deep. When
Extro.
I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I saw it at a very young age myself.
And it's kind of like I don't think that it has the effect on people, and I think taking it away from people that are fine. For the people that aren't fine, I think those people are going to find the other problems that are going to make whatever situation happen anyway. With Mortal Kombat, we see it at the arcade. You have people saying, oh, violent video games are going to be the end of the world. You can watch all the old footage on CNN, people discuss.
Oh, yeah, you watch the nightly news, and that's more violent than a video game.
So we had an event called Combat Con where if you're looking at it, how they said it was going to happen, violence is going to make everybody crazy maniacs, and if you're playing Mortal Kombat, you're going to be this bloodthirsty lunatic. We had 500 people come out from all over the world that were die-hard Mortal Kombat fans, from Brazil, Germany, Japan, Italy, literally all over the world. 500 people that were so into Mortal Kombat, had played it their entire lives, done every fatality, knew every character, and they all came here. So on that day, you would think if what they were saying were true, you'd have the place should have exploded with violence and people killing
mass
each other.
hysteria.
And it was, you've never seen 500 people come together,
happy,
every religion, ethnicity, whatever, none of that mattered. They just liked this violent video game, and they were like family. There was a guy from Germany that drove out. He's just here from Germany, and he goes out and picks up these people from South America that he's never met, and he's never even talked to him, but they said that they're at the airport, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go out and get them because they want to be here.
Wow.
So I'm going to go get them. And it's like, they were all family.
Dedication.
It's the most insane thing. So to censor anything, like you've got artists, I know so many of the people that made these games, and it's not using there are games that were like, oh, we're gonna do this to capitalize on the sensation, but they're just making stuff, they're just regular people, and they're just doing stuff that they find funny, and it's just kind of or fun or whatever. It's like I look at the story for Dark Presence, like that goes all over the place. There's violence in it, and there's people that will relate to elements of it, but it's just a creative thing. It's no different than a book or a movie. It's
entertainment.
It is. if you're going to limit it, who draws that line? And it's just kind of like, you don't like it, don't look at it.
Correct.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's just like music. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. You know? Doc, please tell us about your arcade. When did Galloping Ghost open?
So, Galloping Ghost Arcade opened on August 13, 2010. We had 130 machines when we opened, and we're up to 1,028 now. So it's the largest arcade in the world.
That's my second question.
We had it's not even close. The next closest, if you look online, Guinness says that Fun Spot is the largest, and at their peak, they had, I think, 611 machines. Now they have less than 400. So it's not even...
Well, you're whipping their ass.
Yeah. It was never about becoming the largest. It's just what we do. We keep adding more games and expanding and growing it. But yeah, it's free play arcade. We were like the first free play business model. Nobody thought that was going to work. And it kind of changed everything. Since then, we've helped just under 50 arcades open worldwide, sharing the business model, showing how to build a community, showing how to buy games, sell games, fix games.
And you have a pinball arcade as well.
We do. Galloping Ghost, it's technically 7 different businesses. Pinball was one of the a little bit later ones, one of the newer ones, but the arcade was Productions was the first company, and that opened up in 94, and the arcade was 2010. Pinball, I think, was 2017.
Okay.
He just introduced a new pinball machine, which happens to land on the subject we're talking about.
Oh.
One of your favorite movies.
Exorcist?
No, that'd be nice, though. Is there one?
There's not an Exorcist. Evil Dead.
Oh, sweet, man.
Call-outs by Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
So it's technically Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Pinball.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Unbelievable game. From Spooky Pinball. Spooky Pinball is really focused on... They've done a lot of horror-themed games. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Spooky Pinball.
Yeah. They did Captain Spaulding.
Oh, House of a Thousand?
Yeah.
Okay. Devil's Rejects. Cool. I can't wait to try that, man.
It looks like, to me, just... the pinball versions of horror movies look better to me. I don't know why.
The artwork, especially at your arcade, the elaborate
the
artwork.
miniatures are in there sometimes.
It's like extra props.
It's different, like in an established game. You look at Friday the 13th. You weren't expecting that game,
Right.
because it's hard to create a game around that. Whereas pinball, it's a little more forgiving because you know what you're getting with pinball. So Nightmare on Elm Street, like they have the boiler room that you're shooting the ball into a boiler. They've got a glove. They've got aesthetically, they can really match it up very well.
If anybody, to our listeners right now, if you're in the Chicagoland area, if you're anywhere nearby, you got to come check out the arcade and the pinball arcade. Definitely worth checking it out. Do that. So, what are the future plans of the arcade? Do you want to expand or possibly get a liquor license and create a beercade?
It's the beercade thing. We will definitely be expanding more. We're currently working on putting on a 2nd and 3rd floor to the arcade.
Wow.
So, a lot of plans to keep growing. As far as alcohol at the arcade, it was funny. I've never had alcohol, so it's of no interest to me. Huge money-wise, but so many detrimental things to adding alcohol to an arcade because it completely changes the atmosphere.
Sure.
The fact that we're open until 2 in the morning, for me, growing up playing video games, I wouldn't want to be leaving a place just because they're going to be serving alcohol at some point, which is pretty much what happens at a lot of places that do sell.
Have you been to these like beercades in the city?
We've held several of them open.
Okay.
And the big thing is, as far as players going to play the game, they become great bars that have arcade games. But a true arcade, the place down, Galloping Ghost Arcade really proves that an arcade can still survive. It doesn't need alcohol. It doesn't need anything except the games.
Right.
We see about 80,000 people through the door a year now. So
wow.
It does really well.
And you've got regulars.
Oh yeah, we have players that make it out literally to every Monday game. We've got high score players. We've got lifetime members. Like, we've got a lot of players that get yearly passes, so they're just there all the time.
That's great. So you've mentioned Dark Presence. That's the game that you've designed. Tell us more about it.
So Dark Presence was originally written in '94. Is when it started, and I was super young, had never worked in the industry, just knew that I wanted to work in gaming. Had a run-in with Ed Boon, and at the time I wanted to go work at Midway, and Ed was kind of like, oh, it's really hard to get in the gaming industry. So I was just, okay, I'm going to open up my own company, and that's what we did. Met a few great people, guys. Lumbo, who played Titan in Dark Presence, was like so instrumental in kind of motivating me to keep going with it, because I had no background to make a game aside from having an idea for a game, and it got me into everything. I had to design characters and then sew costumes and do the woodwork to make the weapons and find out how green screens worked.
Yeah.
And filming and lighting and all these different things. Basically, my only thing that I had was I was already a well-versed martial artist, so I could do the moves. But it was kind of building this ragtag team of people to kind of get involved. Roberto came in and helped with some character stuff, and that's how we met back in '94.
Through Mike. I had him in, I think it was like a homeroom class.
Different Mike, not me, Mike.
No, another Mike. A lot of Mikes around here. And he just saw me sketching. I would draw him beating up another buddy of ours in that classroom. And then he just asked me one day, hey, you draw all the time. I know of somebody who's asking if I knew anyone who would like to draw. I was like, well, yeah, me. I like to draw.
So you guys went to the same high school or no?
No.
Okay.
With Mike.
Lumbo
up there on the wall there.
Okay.
With him. And that's the first time I think I've ever been in Brookfield. Because I was working at Pizza Hut in Cicero at the time, so I would have to drive out here. So it was a long drive from
Cicero.
Yeah, to get out here, and we would meet at the Maple on the Dunkin' Donuts on Maple.
Yeah,
it's still there, which I think is awesome. You know,
it moved,
but
up. Only over.
It used to be a Polish restaurant. It was called Little Europe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I used to go there.
Yeah, so that was that was a long time ago. I still have some original sketches from back then.
You mentioned martial arts. Which ones have you trained in over the years?
I was studying Kung Fu. I was learning, especially in the studio, I got into a lot of the wushu weapons, and was learning Wing Chun. So it's just kind of all over the place.
So you like the Chinese style?
Definitely.
Cool. Very cool. Let's see here. So there's a documentary being made about your arcade game. I've seen the teaser. Tell us more about the documentary.
Yeah, it was an interesting. A guy approached me at a production company in Brookfield, and he had said that he had drove past and saw Apple TV was filming something at the arcade, and he felt he's in Brookfield, he should be shooting stuff at the arcade. And he had talked to, that was really the thing he said kind of pushed him down the path, to finally get in touch and ask why this game had taken so long to come out. He had met one of the actresses at a party, and he lived in Brookfield, and she kind of told him the story and kind of mentioned me. And he showed up and he's like, hey, I'm a guy that makes documentaries. Can you tell me the story? And we gave him the synopsis, and he was like, okay, let me digest this for a day. And then he came back and he's like, look, I want to do a full documentary about everything that you've gone through to make this game, and all the people and the comings and goings. The game is reset 3 times already. We've worked with a ton of different programmers. We shot it 3 times because it started in '94, and it's just been a roller coaster getting it done. And the industry, we were originally designing it on the Genesis and arcade. So like, we worked on it for 10 years, and then it looked so dated we had to reshoot it all. And he's telling this whole story. So his name's Craig. You're the Phoenix. It's called Ghost Lord and the Quest for Dark Presence. He did just an amazing amount of interviews. I know he's flown people in from out of state, the people that had moved away. He's tracked them all down. He's talked with industry people. He shot 100 interviews.
Including you, right?
Yeah, he came out to my house and they shot a quick interview.
Oh, cool.
The whole basement was covered in equipment. It was kind of fun to see the whole setup and how dedicated and entrenched he is in the story and just in getting it done. Like, good professional and
very
nice crew that he has.
When is this coming out? Like, where can we find it?
I don't know yet. He hasn't finished it yet.
Oh, okay.
They shot it. They've got so much footage. Editing it all. He's trying to get it down to, I think, 2 or 3 hours. And he has hundreds of interviews. He's got over 70 hours of footage of just my interviews.
Wow.
So to condense all that and get a cohesive story, he's got such an amazing undertaking. And I've since watched so many of the other things he's done, and just his camera work and his choice of shots. I can't wait to see it. Like, we've had so many people think that it's us producing this documentary. It's like, this is we're the content, like, but
We're the subject matter.
yeah, like,
Well, hopefully,
when's it coming out? Oh, I have no idea.
Hopefully we
can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully we can find it like on a streaming service or something.
Hopefully, I'm sure it'll be. He's going to make a lot of noise about it whenever it's done. So film festivals.
So
Yeah, conventions. I was going to throw out there, since you do gaming conventions. Have you ever been invited to like a horror conventions? Because I know you go to almost every single one.
The ones in Chicagoland, yeah, I go to them every year, and there's definitely gamers that come out to that one.
Any games there? Like, did you see? Is that a place you would see the Evil Dead pinball game at?
You do see pinball, especially at Flashback Weekend. They've had some pinball games there.
I think
That's an upcoming one.
We were going to reach out. We don't normally reach out to be a part of shows like C2E2 and like they usually approach us.
So the new one this year is in Rosemont at the Stevens Convention Center. That's Nightmare Weekend, and I think GalaxyCon puts that one on. So will we be able to find you up there?
We haven't talked with them yet. Again, William Shatner's supposed to be there, who's like really good friends with Mack. So we maybe something will happen. We'll see. We'll see.
So, Doc, growing up, I was always told, my parents, I think many parents of our Gen X generation, was that you can't make a career and get paid playing video games, but you've defied them all. You have made a career out of doing this, so congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Now, where can we find Galloping Ghosts online or social media?
Just search for most everything you can find through Galloping Ghost Arcade. Each of the businesses has its own social media stuff, so hit any of them up or me, and not too hard to find.
Okay. Any last words, Roberto?
Is that monkey operational? You were just talking about it, and
the monkey
on his desk.
I didn't even know there was a movie coming out.
Yeah, the monkey.
he's here.
Does he play?
Oh, we're all cursed now.
Yes.
He's got his.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm frightened.
Yes.
I actually use him for. I had him going, and I started writing a guitar riff to go along with him, and it's turned into one of the songs for Dark Presence. So
Oh, excellent.
he's the best drummer I've ever worked with.
He's your inspiration.
Yes.
Very
That's
cool.
a movie right there.
So these came out a million years ago. This one's, I think, from the 60s.
Wow.
Disney, I guess, they copyright the cymbals,
Really?
which is why the movie now has him drumming.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because from what I've heard, Disney owns that copyright now.
They don't want to. Stephen King doesn't want to pay Disney.
Oh, my God.
Doc, any last words before we sign off?
No, again, thank you for having me on, and especially if you like horror, our pinball place is just
Chock full of it.
it's 80% horror themed games. So
Excellent. You've heard it. You've heard it here, folks. Go check out Galloping Ghost. Thank you.
All right, so that was the interview with Doc. Hope you enjoyed that. And we thank you all for listening and streaming and downloading and everything. You can find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, of course. Like and subscribe. I think I got them all. Instagram. And we have that email, last3rowsofhorror@gmail.com. So check us out and share the video. Find us on social media. Say hello. We've got some great stuff coming up this year. Some cool episodes. Probably next one we'll do might be like a what we've been watching lately episode. So stick around and keep it horrific. Thanks for listening. Bye.